God, this league is crazy, man. Here I was sitting down. I had watched a little bit of AJ Johnson tape in preparation of me talking about the Kuzma to the Bucks trade. I was sitting down to talk about that trade, and now we've got Jimmy Butler is going to the Warriors from the Miami Heat, obviously, for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick. God knows what pick that is. God, this league moves fast, huh? Sorry if my position moved. My roommate called me about this trade. Holy shit. Okay, so Jimmy Butler fit on the Warriors. Let's think about this a little bit. Jimmy obviously has his limitations as far as a floor spacer. I need to think about this. Hold on. Andrew Wiggins is out of the starting lineup, so you've got a starting lineup of Steph, obviously, Buddy Hield, who's been coming back down to earth lately, to be honest. Draymond, Quentin Post, or Kevon Looney, or Trace Jackson Davis. Quentin Post, again, been getting a lot of run. I thought it was to showcase him so he could be traded. Not the case at all. They seem to just really like him. And then you just slot in Jimmy Butler there. So Curry, Hield, Butler, Draymond Green, Quentin Post is your starting five. It's better than it was before this trade. Now, it sucks to give up Andrew Wiggins in this deal because he's been so great this season. A complete bounce back season for Andrew Wiggins. A lot of bounce back seasons for a lot of guys this season. And Andrew Wiggins is another guy on that list. He's been playing really well. Excellent basketball. Dennis Schroeder, you had for a whole month. Was it even a month? You traded for him from the Nets. And the whole idea was like you traded for him early. And I remember seeing a tweet like, oh, but by the deadline, they could still move him if they wanted to move on from him if he didn't really fit the team. And obviously his sort of pick and roll spread offense didn't really fit what the Warriors were trying to do. It was just an awkward fit. Didn't really work at all. I thought it was going to be fine, but if you watched the Warriors games, it just felt a little awkward and kind of disjointed. So it's okay to move on from Dennis Schroeder here. Look, this trade is crazy because Jimmy Butler, I guess, finally decided that, I'll go to the Warriors. Yeah, it's better than staying here. It honestly is, because if you went back to the Miami Heat this season, it's going to be a very awkward locker room and just a very strange situation. So the Heat get back some guys that can keep them competent. You get back Wiggins, a backup guard, or starting. Man, that's actually kind of nice. So Schroeder and Tyler Hero are going to be your backcourt. Ignore everything I had to say about Dennis Schroeder. He's not going to the Miami Heat. So in this deal, Jimmy Butler has already agreed to his contract extension. I don't even know how that happens immediately. But it's a 2-year, $121 million contract extension through 2026, 2027. You can't say the Warriors aren't trying now. You can't say. You give Steph Curry a running mate in Jimmy Butler. Now, does Jimmy Butler on the Warriors really change a whole lot of their outlook this season? No, but you're going to have to put some pieces around him as far as like roster fit and things of that nature. I think Jimmy will fit just fine. He's kind of a versatile player. We've seen him play in a multiple different offensive systems. He's been a role player in his career. Like, this is going to work out just fine as far as like offensive defensive fit goes. It's more like how much talent can you put around these two guys, and does this open up the championship window? I can never bet against the Warriors as a franchise, but man, I mean, Jimmy Butler, as far as a guy who can get you there, he was amazing when they were going on those runs with the Heat, but I'm going to be honest, he's been kind of injury prone, and obviously an issue in the locker room. I won't say the locker room, an issue being on the court and not giving maximum effort. Like, this is what he wants. He has to put his best foot forward, and gosh, this is a crazy trade. Oh yeah, okay, that's just another freaking Shams update. Okay, Jimmy Butler has been asking out of the Miami Heat for about 2 months now. I'm glad it's finally over with. I'm glad that we can kind of move past this, because to be honest, with it dominating the news for so long, it was getting to a point where it was like, all right, man, it's either going to happen or it's not. I don't care anymore. And I think Heat fans were at that point where it's like, there was a report where it was like, he wants any other team except the Miami Heat. And then there were multiple rumors of him denying going to other teams. Like, I thought he was a great fit on the Grizzlies. I guess the Grizzlies didn't want to promise him that extension. They wanted to see him play. So the Warriors are desperate enough in this situation to where they're like, screw it. Like, we'll just give you the extension. We don't care how it looks on the basketball court. I think the most realistic option for Jimmy Butler's future is the Golden State Warriors, a team that has shown that they want to trade for another star to put alongside Steph Curry. I just think it makes the most sense as far as timeline-wise. Jimmy Butler is 35 years old. He's not young by any sort of NBA standard. And Steph Curry is a guy that's up there in age as well, and the Warriors are trying to win now, so why not, right? Jimmy Butler wants his large contract. The Warriors aren't going to be any good when Steph Curry leaves. Why don't we just swing for the fences at this point? It's what they should have done 2 years ago. Honestly, at this point, it might be a little too late, but who knows? You're a guy that we can believe can get us to the promised land, or at least close to it. Give Steph Curry another chance. You don't really turn down an opportunity to bring a guy like Jimmy Butler in. I don't know how much this puts you into a championship level roster. It does make you better. Yeah, for sure. But there's a lot of things that you're going to have to solve. As far as the defense, Andrew Wiggins was your best point of attack defender. Draymond Green's going to be asked to do a lot more. Gary Payton's probably going to play a little bit more. Brandon Bajemski's minutes are going to kind of dwindle. You hope guys like Moses Moody can continue to step up, though he's out right now. Kyle Anderson's off your roster now, so you don't even have him as a defensive anchor. Like, these are things you're going to have to think about and you're going to have to deal with in the offseason, because frankly, the roster that you have in Golden State right now is not going to cut it as far as a championship team. Did you get better? Yes. Is it the final move and final piece to this puzzle? No, it's not at all. Jimmy Butler signing a $121 million extension immediately as soon as he got to Golden State is pretty crazy. As far as how far I can think the Warriors can go in this playoff environment, I honestly think they're a first round exit still. This really doesn't change a whole lot for me. But what I will say is it does raise your ceiling as far as like being able to build a team. More changes. Hold on. Okay, so take back what I said earlier about how I thought Dennis Schroeder would be a good fit in Miami. He's not going there. It doesn't matter. This is a mess. An absolute mess. This happening in front of me right now is just a complete mess. Dennis Schroeder is going to Utah somehow. Where are all these players going? That's truly like, I need to watch this unfold a little bit before I give my final opinions. So instead of the Miami Heat getting Dennis Schroeder, they keep Tyler Hero at the point guard and they're bringing in PJ Tucker from Utah. I assume that comes with a second round pick or something. Dennis Schroeder is a much better player than PJ Tucker is at this stage of his career. But hey, that's their decision. I guess PJ Tucker comes in and plays the Udonis Haslem role. Like, it's so strange. Like, this trade is, there's going to be a million moving parts to this, but I want to focus on the fact that Andrew Wiggins is for sure going to the Miami Heat, which gives them some flexibility on what they can do. At least he's out there playing basketball at a high rate, unlike Jimmy Butler, who was out there kind of half-assing it when he wanted out, and everyone was kind of aware of that. The fact that this is kind of just turned into a mess. What I think is the craziest part is the fact that Jimmy Butler has already signed a 2-year extension worth $60 million a year. The Warriors are really going all in, and if this doesn't work, they're just going to have to fire sell on everyone. Steph Curry, at least you get another chance, but I'm going to be honest, Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors, it's crazy to talk about. It's cool things to talk about. It's an interesting thing that, finally comes to an end with the Heat saga, with Jimmy Butler and everything, and just Pat Riley and the relationship that's kind of deteriorated. But at the end of the day, what does it matter? Because Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors really doesn't give them a championship ceiling, in my opinion. Like, I don't think this team is ready to win completely. In the offseason, when they retool and they find some guys that can fit around this team, maybe, but in a lot of ways, they kind of used a lot of their assets up here. I don't know how Kuminga is still on this roster, but he is. Yeah, Kuminga's out at least another week. He survives another trade deadline, I assume. And I guess they're going to pay him in the offseason, but they don't have the money to pay for him now. Is Kuminga going to get moved before the end of the trade deadline? Like, he's not in this trade. So what are we doing here? Are you going to pay him in the offseason? See what he gets in restricted free agency? You could do that. You could run the risk of that. But some team might swoop in and pay him $25 to $30 million a year, and it's like, you're going to have to let him go for nothing when you could have traded him for a lot of very key assets in the league. I think of Lauri Markkanen, the fact that you didn't want to trade with him because of AirPods. Gosh, that looks pretty bad right now. In a lot of ways, you could have traded for Lauri Markkanen. Maybe you didn't give up a lot of these guys, and you wouldn't have had to make a desperate move to get Jimmy Butler. But regardless, Jimmy Butler is a Warrior. This is chaos. Basically, to break it down as far as I know right now before I post this video, Dennis Schroeder is going to the Utah Jazz. PJ Tucker is going from the Utah Jazz to the Heat. Andrew Wiggins is going to the Heat. Kyle Anderson is going to the Heat. And the Warriors get Jimmy Butler. But we'll see what the Jimmy Butler era looks in Golden State. I don't have super high hopes for this season, but maybe they can retool in the offseason. That's kind of my first baseline opinion. And that's a big risk because both of these guys are 35, and it's like, all right, the time is now. A lot of teams are like, the time is now. And then that makes you think, where is Kevin Durant going? Yeah, because he already deleted all of his Phoenix Suns pictures off his Instagram. Don't tell me he's a Maverick, dude. That would be ridiculous. Oh my God, because that means Derek Lively's a son. He's not going to be a Maverick. I don't even want to think about that. Anyway, y'all take care. Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. Yeah, insanity. We'll see how this pans out fully. But yeah, have a good one.